Okay, so I love a good cheesecake, and they're so expensive at the stores, and I have never made one myself, but I thought I'd give it a go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Martha Stewart's cheesecake recipe, because if you're going to make a recipe from someone else, you might as well go for the queen of baking, and that's Martha Stewart's. So I will link to her recipe down below, either in the comments section and pin it, probably be the best place, easiest to find, or in the video description. And I'm just going to follow her directions to the T. So first thing we need to do is we need to have a 10-inch springform pan, and we're going to make the crust. Now she does use blender, not a blender, the other one, food processor to do her crumbs, but I'm not going to go that route because that's just something else for me to dig out, and then I got to wash it up, and I think I can just get away with doing it in my bag and crushing my graham crackers. She says to use 12 graham crackers, and I've already counted, there's 9 in each package of these, so I'm going to put 12 of these into my bag of 9. There's 12. Put those off to the side. Zip that up. Get rid of as much air as I can in there. Get my rolling pin. And I'm just going to turn these graham crackers into crumbs. I'm spending an extra minute or two because we really want those to be nice and finely crushed. So just spend that little bit of extra time and get those nice and crushed. Alright, now let's go ahead and get our pan ready. I got this real nice springform pan on Amazon. It's enameled with a rubber seal around the glass bottom. But just to be safe, we are going to follow Martha's suggestion and wrap that in foil just to make sure that we don't get any leaks. So we take that, fold it up, like that. Make sure none of our foil sticking inside the pan. Alright, now I got a stick of softened butter here. And we're just going to cover that all. Make sure it don't stick. Paying attention to the sides. So that lets go of the cheesecake when we're ready to remove it. Alright. That looks pretty good. Okay, so set that off to the side. I'm going to add my crushed graham crackers to my bowl here. I got 6 tablespoons of melted butter. Two tablespoons of sugar. And she says to put a pinch of salt in there, but I had salted butter, so I'm not going to put any salt in that. Put this off to the side. Let's just get that all mixed up. Alright. That looks pretty well mixed. We'll dump that into our pan. Get that spread out. Take a measuring cup now, we're going to compact that real nice. Get that nice and evenly spread out. And compacted. And by the way, my oven is preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so you can see that's nice and compacted now. So we are going to pop this in my 350 degree oven for 15 minutes. On a baking sheet until it's firm to touch and a deep golden brown, which says about 15 minutes. So I'll see you in about 15 minutes. Okay, so I've browned that up. Now we need to let that cool completely, so I'm just going to leave that sitting there and let that completely cool before we go ahead and start our batter. So I'll see you once that's cooled down. Okay, that crust is cooled down pretty much. So now we're going to make the batter. For that we need 3.5 pounds of cream cheese. That's a lot. Like Martha Stewart says, that's a lot. So that's 7 blocks of cream cheese. So this has been sitting out. It's at room temperature now. So we'll just get these opened up. And drop them into our mixer. So I'll do the rest of that off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, we got that all in there. Put that in, lock that down, and it says to mix it on medium speed until fluffy, about 3 minutes, scraping bowls down sides as needed. Alright, that's been about 3 minutes. Now, we got 2 1/4 cups of sugar and 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to put that in my mixing bowl here. Mix that together. Okay, and it says once that's mixed together, put this on low speed and just gradually add this to the bowl and let it mix in. It says let that mix until it's smooth. It's looking pretty smooth now, but I'm going to stop that. And I'm just going to make sure that we're getting it off the bottom so that nothing is clumping up at the bottom. Oh yeah, it's looking nice and smooth. All right. Now we're going to mix in our sour cream. All this is at room temperature, by the way, in case I didn't tell you. So we'll put that back on low. Mix in sour cream and vanilla. So this is, how much sour cream? 8 ounces, or 1 cup of sour cream. and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. One, two, three. Again, this has to mix that till it's smooth. Now we are going to add, I believe it's 5 eggs. Let me just make sure I'm right. 5 large eggs at room temperature. One at a time. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Now it says to mix that. Add eggs one at a time, beating until just combined. Do not overmix. Apparently that's critical. Alright. So they have mixed in. Turn that off. Let's get that kind of cleaned off in there. And let's pour that batter into our spring form. Does that look good? Now, I hope this don't rise too much. That looks like it's going to be pretty full. All right. Let's spread that out. Boy, that looks full. I don't think her pictures look that full. Kind of got me worried now. We'll just go with it. That's all we can do. Right. Now I need to boil some water, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we put enough boiling water in there to bring it up halfway up the side of the pan. Now we're gonna put this in the oven and bake it for 45 minutes at 350. Then we're going to reduce the temperature down to 325 and continue baking it for 30 minutes. All right. So, and then after it's done that 30 minutes, then we're going to turn the oven off. We're going to leave the cake in the oven. We're going to crack the door on the oven and let it sit for an hour. All right. And then we'll let it cool completely, and I should be back for that. So first part is get this in the oven, 350. Right. Make sure I'm on the right temperature. Yeah, 350 for 45 minutes. Then I'm going to reduce the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and cook it for another 30 minutes. But what we're looking for on that last 30 minutes is for it to be slightly wobbly in the center. But everything else pretty much firmed up. Okay, I'm trying not to make this too complicated. All right, so let's get this in the oven, and I'll see you in a long time. Okay, there you have it. So I did end up leaving this in the oven. So we reduced the temperature down to 325, and the directions say, continue baking until the cake is set but still slightly wobbly in the center, about 30 minutes more. And I did that for the 30 minutes and it was wobbly all the way out to the edge. So I just kept adding time until I thought that it was solid enough in the center. By the center I mean about the size of my fist, but it seemed pretty firm around the edge. So it was about 15 minutes. I set it for 10 minutes extra. Came back, checked it. It's still not the way I thought it should be. So I added 5 minutes and added 5 minutes. That's 20 minutes. And I can't remember if I added another 5 minutes or not. But I was just looking so that when I give it a little shake like that the center was really wobbly, but the sides weren't. That makes sense. So anyway, it looks really, really good. And then it said to turn off the oven, leave the cake in the oven with the door slightly ajar for about 1 hour. So I stuck a wooden spoon in the door so it wouldn't shut all the way with the oven off, and I left it for the full hour. Now we need to let this cool completely, and once it's cooled completely, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator overnight without removing the pan yet or anything. We're going to wait until it's nice and chilled before we release the springform pan. So, what do you think? Does that look good? I don't want to spill it or anything, but because it is still wobbly. Hopefully it's done. But it looks really, really good. Nice brown around the edges, but the center is nice and yellow. Martha's didn't have the brown around the edges, so I'm kind of, I'm confident kind of that the whole thing is going to set. So, it's still very warm. I'm going to let this cool for an hour or two more. Then I'll pop that in the fridge. And tomorrow afternoon sometimes, I guess, maybe late morning, early afternoon, we'll take the springform off and do a cut into this. So my plan is, if everything comes out right, is I'm going to eat a good portion of this myself fresh. And what I'm going to do is cut slices and wrap them in saran wrap and freeze those so that anytime I want a piece of cheesecake, I can take it out the night before, wrapped in saran wrap from the freezer, and stick it in the fridge, let it thaw out slowly like that, and eat that. And we're obviously going to have some left over, and I want to freeze dry that. So we're going to do a lot with this. Get a lot done with this cheesecake. I mean, it's massive, but I hope it's as good as it smelled, and the batter really tasted good. I forgot I was going to put because one of her suggestions is to put what was it? Add a teaspoon of lemon zest to the filling. And I bought the lemon and everything for it just to do that, and I forgot to do that, so there's no lemon in this one. But that would have been pretty nice, just to add that little zest to it when we were mixing it up. I didn't do that. So we'll cut into this tomorrow, and wish me luck overnight. I'll be thinking about it and drooling over it until tomorrow late morning, early afternoon. I'll see you then. Okay, this is set in the fridge for over 24 hours. It's time to slice this up. The first thing I'm going to do is take a knife. It looks like it's separated pretty well from that. I'm just going to go around this. And we're going to release the spring form. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Now, take some of these crumbs off the top. I need to flip that over. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Because I don't want to cut this with my silicone seal on there. I'm just trying to release this. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to take this seal off because I do not want to ruin that seal. Let's see if I can get this off. Well, it wasn't perfect. Put that back on there. Not perfect. Now, I'm going to put this exactly centered on there. Best we can. We're going to try and flip it over again. There we go. I didn't get it centered. Let's see if we can slide that. Yeah. All right. Now I got a damp towel here, because I understand cutting the cheesecake can be messy. Cut it in fours. And cut each one of those fours into 3. All right, there goes. Okay, let's try dipping this in the hot water. See if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, that makes a big difference. Alright, I'm going to finish cutting this off camera. Do one more slice. Oh yeah. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't get it quite as pretty as Martha Stewart's, but it tastes good. Now, I thought I had cherry pie filling in my cupboard, but I got strawberry rhubarb pie filling. So that's what I'm going to put on the top of that, kind of dress it up a bit. Let's take a nice little piece here. Put it on my tray. Wonder if that just wasn't quite done yet when I baked that. All right, let's put some of this on there. This pie filling, strawberry rhubarb. Boy, it's thick. All right, let's get a thumbnail of that. going to dig in for a taste test of the fresh cheesecake. Kind of did already from the scraping of the knife, but oh man, that is so rich. Martha Stewart, you did me well, let me tell you. My first ever fruitcake, first ever cheesecake. Oh man, that is rich and delicious. Well, I can't say enough good things about that. I'm going to enjoy this. What I thought I'd do is I'm gonna take this cheesecake here and pop it in the freezer just to get a lot firmer, because I want to wrap those slices in individually in saran wrap and freeze them so that I can, if I want a cheesecake slice, I can pop it out of the freezer, stick it in the fridge for a day, and have a nice cheesecake slice. And then I'm going to take some and set it aside, and we're going to freeze dry that. So I'm going to enjoy this piece of cheesecake first. Then we'll get that in the freezer, get it kind of firmed up a bit. And next time you see it, we'll be taking a slice or two of that, maybe 3. I'm going to do 1 tray of cheesecake bites, homemade cheesecake bites. But even if you don't freeze dry this, that Martha Stewart recipe is the bomb. And it didn't crack or anything. I know when I watched her video, her pan didn't seem as full as mine. She had some headspace, and mine filled the whole pan. So I'm wondering if maybe I made that too thick. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's about 3 inches. A lot of the comments on her recipe mentioned that it makes way more than 1 10-inch cheesecake. So maybe I put too much in there, thickened it up, made it too thick. I don't know, but it tastes good. Man, this is delicious. All right. Quit waffling, John. I'm going to see you when we slice some of this up for freeze drying. I'll see you then. Okay, what I did was I put this in the freezer several hours to get that nice and firm, and it softened up pretty quickly, so I did this off camera. I took 3 slices of that cheesecake and cut them into the thinnest slices as I could and layered them in my tray here. So I'm going to get these in the freezer before they warm up anymore, get them frozen solid. Next time you see them, they'll be coming out of the freeze dryer. I'll see you then. All right, 40 hours plus in the freeze dryer. Check out those cheesecake slices. I cut them nice and thinnish. And I got 2 layers on here. And I didn't label these bags because I don't want to write on them and not use them. I don't know how many I'm going to get in a bag, because they're all different shapes and sizes. I'm just going to put a few in there. Probably get about 4 bags. Here's one. Two. Now what I did was I got these grates in here just to separate the two layers, and I put some paper towel on here just so my cheesecake didn't stick to the grates. So I am going to take this off. Carefully. Like that. And this was actually only 3 slices of the cheesecake that I cut into thin slices, because I only had 1 slot in my freeze dryer. Let me tell you, I've enjoyed over these past 2 days eating that fresh cheesecake. That is some delicious cheesecake. Even if you don't freeze dry it, you really need to try making that fresh. That's a great recipe. All right, I'm gonna put a couple more in there. That's 3. Here's my 6. Let's get those sealed up, and rather than open the whole package and waste it, I'm gonna do a taste test right now on that piece there. Put an O2 absorber in each one of these packs here and zip lock them shut. All right, that's heated up, ready to go. Let's put a heat seal on there. All right, let's do a taste test right here. So you can see I kind of cut them really thin as I could. What I did was I stuck the slices, you know, the full slices back in the freezer, and I froze them quite a long while till they were firm, very, very, very hard, but soft enough that I could get a sharp knife through them, and they cut nice and thin like that. That way, I was thinking it'd be a lot easier to eat these, because cheesecake, when you freeze dry it in big chunks, it can be quite hard. And this was a dense cheesecake, so it might be really hard. So I thought I'd cut them nice and thin, kind of like a chip. But let's bite into it. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. That's a bit of freeze-dried heaven there, let me tell you. Not too hard at all, really. Man, that rich cheesecake flavor just hits you. That is gorgeous. You know, my 7-day challenge, I didn't have a snack during a lot of those days, and I missed those. This is going to hit the spot, let me tell you. A packet of those, man, those are delicious. I'm gonna have to get all those crumbs. I'm tempted to open another packet, but I'm not going to. I got cheesecake in the freezer. Oh man. You know what, you guys? I know it's a little bit of work to bake your own cheesecake, but there's something about the satisfaction that John and Bibbs baked his first cheesecake, and it was absolutely gorgeous fresh, and it's absolutely gorgeous freeze-dried. So what do you guys think of that? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'd really appreciate that, and I'd really appreciate you if you hit that like button. It's extreme. I hate asking you guys to do it, but it's extremely important. I've been doing this 6 years, and there's people out there have been doing it 2, less than 2, and they got more subscribers than me. Now, of course, I ain't as good looking as all them. I know, I understand all that stuff, and I'm not maybe as energetic as some of them, but you know, I'd like my channel to grow, so that helps a great deal. What happened? It's working on algorithm. YouTube will put my videos out to a batch of people, and depending on what the response is to that video, if I get enough likes or click-throughs onto something else, you know, they'll put another batch out there, and it helps my channel grow immensely if you hit that like button. I know it. I hate asking you to do it, but I that's the way YouTube works. So hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate a subscription by hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to get notified when I post a video, hit the bell after you hit the subscribe button and tell YouTube you want to be notified. And I do have a membership area there where you can support the channel. It's just a little bit of membership group, and that is for $1.99 a month, which isn't a lot of money, but it can be a lot of money when you're on a budget, I understand. Which isn't a lot. You're supporting my channel. It's helping me purchase new things to freeze dry. And for that, for supporting the channel, YouTube lets me offer a few perks. And one of the perks is you'll get a little badge beside your name on any of your comments, and that'll be color coded to tell you how long you've been a member of the John and Bibbs membership group. So you get a little badge. And I also release all my videos to the members only area, you know, early. It might be a day early, or it might be a week early. It just depends. If I got something in there, I'll go ahead and get it all edited and put it in the computer and all that stuff, and I'll upload it and open it up for members only, and you get to see it first. And then on a set date, I have it scheduled to go public for the rest of the public to see. So I'd appreciate you at least considering joining, becoming a member for $1.99 a month, less than half a cup of coffee. So anyway, I am fascinated. I was fantastically happy with my cheesecake. I hope you try that cheesecake. I hope you are adventurous enough to try and make your own. And if you do, let me know. And that's a great recipe by Martha Stewart. I will pin a link to her recipe, since it's not my recipe. And you can watch her make it. Hers comes out prettier than mine, but I bet mine tastes just as good as hers. I'll see you next time.